Hey everybody, Steve DeLaviaga with our Rise Up podcast with one of my favorite humans in the world, my brother Brett Tanner. What's up, my guy? How are you?
I got to tell you, I don't do a lot of podcasts yet. But when you ask, I would call one of my best friendships. So I'm beyond excited to be here with you. And I think it's going to be great content, but I know we're going to have a lot of laughs. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, tune in. This is going to be a good time. So we've been blessed to watch each other's worlds and at the same time been able to be involved the whole time. We would go on different tangents or take different roles, but we always had a chance to work together within it, which I think is so cool. And we talk a lot about this, the ROR, return on relationship. When I met Brett, he was up and coming, doing 45, 50 deals a year in Arizona. And then you do what you do. He bolted on to a network that we had here in Phoenix, and I was probably leading a little bit at that time. And all of a sudden, he'd grab a nugget here and execute it, grab a nugget here and execute it. Became the number 9 agent in the United States, USA Today, number 9.
Country, yeah, 2011.
1,900-ish deals in the end.
We were number 9, and then we did it again. We rose up to that level again in 13. Yeah,
unbelievable. And
back when that was something.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, well, this was like you didn't have 20. This was only Arizona.
No, those were individual transactions.
Not sides.
Yeah,
not in 20 states, in one county, really.
Yeah, and I could sell one guy 700 of them.
It was an individual hand-to-hand combat. Got it. Well, and this is what I love. Brett, now, for those you don't know, he's the single greatest spokesperson for wealth in the real estate space. He'll train over 50,000 humans this year through his network. And so I want to go back to that, because when you had all those transactions, lots of guys like, hey, I'm going to go to other states. I'm going to start working with hedge funds. And you went, hold on, I can spoke into other lines of revenue that can actually be significantly more profitable without having to do a ton more work or more time. So walk through the mindset and how you've evolved to what that is today in your wealth world.
So I think about the real estate business, we get lanes of revenue, right? So I'm going to have my buyer business, right? It's different. It's a relationship thing. I'm going to have my seller business. This is me back then. Yes. I was thinking about it. And the core focus for me back then was to create cash, right? The purpose of business is profit. I know that's a bad word these
Everybody
days.
misses that one, don't they?
Get very
we
confused.
used to laugh about that. We'd be like, I don't make any money.
It's not charity. It's not giving away free shoes. You can do all those things with money, but it's actually to make money. That's the purpose of business is profit. And so, for me, it was I had the buyer, the seller business. Then we had some channel accounts, right? We had REO short sale. You were so gracious in helping me get connected in that REO space. Right, went on to sell hedge funds and do all the investments, flips, represent
Open
investors.
Doors, first client here, all that.
I was agent 001 with Open Door, right? So those were all transactional cash-based lanes of revenue.
Got it.
And my wealth journey started when I started looking at, what are businesses that I could create and build enterprise value as I'm growing the company. So now instead of all those lanes, I reduce it to what's a retail business.
And you define business in your way, because I love how you do it. It's not like a practice that you have to go do more stuff for Brett, because Brett has 3 kids, a beautiful wife, wanted a life, vacations 10 weeks a year. So walk through how you look at a business as opposed to a practice.
Yeah. The first thing, if I'm going to start anything, it's going to be who's going to run it. It's not Brett.
Right.
So we're going to start with the person. Right. Then we're going to write a check to capitalize the business, and it's got to run independent on its own.
Love it.
Right. So started retail. We built it a really big investment business. A lot of people said, Brett, well, you went for number 9. Haven't heard about you in a minute. And we sold $225 million worth of real estate last year.
Yeah.
What people miss, I think, is that my investment business dwarfs that in size.
And in profit.
And I measure those things, right? So we've got the,
Since that matters, we should do that.
This kind of the thing. So I got the retail business, we got an investment business. But then we looked at, all right, we've got these transactions. We've got a heavy transaction count. What are other businesses that play alongside, right? With you, one of the natural ones was title, right?
Yes, sir.
We've got the business. We were already directing it to our partners, right? When you were in that role, that was you. And then you expand, then we became an owner. And so that business makes a lot of, because every time I do a deal, I'm doing title.
Well, this is so important too, because you said this to me, which I love you. We had a relationship and you were great with me about it. But you also said, Steve, I'm kind of renting, right? I kind of want to become an owner now. I have enough influence, dollars, decisions. I think when you're out there as an agent, if you have the influence, and in your case, a transactional influence, now you can own this business. And it's, how many hours do you spend a month on title, and what do you make?
Greatest business, in terms of $1 per hour, it's astronomical, because I don't even spend an hour a month on it.
Yeah.
Right? My job, the partners run the business.
Right.
My job's deal flow. Right.
Yeah.
Their job's running the title and transaction and escrow,
Underwriting,
underwriting, and you know all the things that go into it, right? Wire in, wire out, signings, notaries, you know, the title plant, the whole thing. My job is send the deal. So I literally spend...
Which you were already doing before owning. Now you own, do exactly what you're doing, and it's the most profitable business you have.
The most exhausting part, you got to log into the ACH hit. Oh, they paid me. Yeah, cool, right? They give me a P&L. I mean, it's not that hard of a business, right? But you look, oh, that's a great one. All right, then you think about, okay, well, am I going to do something in mortgage? Does mortgage make sense, right? We haven't gone that road yet. We're exploring.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, for us, property and casualty is one people don't talk about.
Ooh, insurance, yes.
Insurance. Well, at the end of every closing, people are getting, you know, insurance. And why wouldn't I want to offer that? And if I could give my clients better coverage,
cheaper rate,
at a better rate, and actually teach them, because everything we do, I think the highest level of business is teaching.
I agree.
Right? In the beginning, the highest level is sitting with someone, Steve, do you understand why your insurance matters and how it protects your family? Would you like to know? Because everyone's got it. Most people have no clue what it even means. Right?
Perfect.
So you go down these lanes, and we've been able to do that really, really well in a lot of different categories.
So it's the who. Well, first it's the, can this be a business that I don't have to run? Yes.
Yeah.
Then it's a who. Then do you look at margin or how many transactions it takes to be, you said this once to me, we were talking about doing something together. You go, Steve, the lemonade is not worth the squeeze of the lemon. It's a lot of work for not. So walk through your mindset around that before you say, yep, we're going. I'm going to get my who. I'm going to go.
I've got a very specific criteria we actually use to go to every business we're going to do.
Shocking not. But
well, and it's me because I'm a serial entrepreneur, right? And so I'll turn on a business every Tuesday, right? Let's go, Steve. Let's go start selling Cokes out of this, you know, the pool over here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a real business. That's not a good idea.
Right.
But I had to have a way to vet the idea. So number one, I define upside. 3 years out, what's the upside? For me, there's a minimum that I have to play.
Can I ask what that is today?
Yeah. So back then it was a smaller number. Today, if I cannot get a business to net $1 million within 3 years, it's not. I don't want to do it.
Got it.
And that's not to brag.
No,
it's just
it's where
for
you are
us
today.
to go apply our resources and to rally my team around something. It's just got to be worth it. So number two, I look at what are the downsides, right? What am I missing? You know, what are the challenges? Is something technology could come in that could wipe that out? Or, so I'll look at those things, right? Then I go, do I already have the customers? The third thing, do I have customers for this business? Because I've got like titles and I already have the customers. It's me, right? Fine. So that's an easier one, right? So, you know, I look at noise. On a scale of 1 to 10, I measure the decibel level.
Yeah.
Right?
How long is it going to be for you as the owner? I might have to get involved, fix stuff all the time. It's coming to my desk a lot.
Yeah, here's the way to think about noise. I'm driving home at night, I get a call and I look at my phone and I go, right? That's loud. That's a loud business. Right? Am I excited about it? Right? I look at passion on a scale of 1 to 5. I can't pick 4. How passionate am I about this business? And by the way, I could be passionate about the business or the person who's going to run it. Because I got businesses that I'm not that jacked about property and casualty insurance as a business. What I am super jacked about is my partner.
Yeah, your who.
My who is I would be excited if we had a pineapple factory. I would be excited about him.
Love
right?
that.
So I think about, is there anything proprietary or special? What's my moat?
Right.
Is it could be regulatory? Is it capital intensive? I need some sort of an advantage where everyone just can't do it, right? So licensing's a thing. Like insurance, not everybody's going to go get the insurance license and the carriers, and it's harder, right? So I think about that. And so when I lay that criteria down, I measure travel. How much travel is required for this business? I'd like it to be 0. I will travel I love to travel for fun, big travel guy.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of title deals in Cabo San Lucas, for example, which doesn't really fit otherwise for you yet.
If I could build a business that involved going to Cabo more often and golfing with
Diamante,
you,
yeah, we
I
have
don't
a
even
good
care.
time.
You know what? Throw out all the other criteria. I'll just do
So
it.
this is my guy. I go to Diamante. It's probably 4 years ago. I joined. I said, man, you'd love this place. I sent it to him. 4 weeks later, he's like, hey, I'm here. I bought the 3-bedroom, 4-bath. I'm like, what? He
I
literally,
get it. I'm a great student. Someone does all the research. They give you data, and they say this is great. You would love it. I knew I would love it.
I'm like, don't you got a place in Punta Mita? Don't you got a place? You're like, yeah. But this was great. Hey, thanks, Steve.
This is a guy's golf thing. Totally different.
It's the best. So now I love that noise level, and I think this is important too. And so out there, he's grown into this. This is over 15-ish years that we've known each other and done this. So in the beginning, we used to laugh, right? We had more time and less money. So we would do time-intensive stuff. That's what we had to give. Now, congrats in your world. You've got significantly more money than time. So this is actually your more valuable asset, which is why noise, can it get to $1 million net? Do I like the who? All those are primary choices to even start something because it affects the time, which is your most valuable asset. Is that right?
And the other thing is there's only 3 resources in life, right? You got time, money, and influence. So when I look at a business, so I look at, in the beginning, I was blessed with no money and tremendous amounts of time, right? What a gift.
Yeah, exactly.
And as I got better, I didn't have any more time.
Right.
So I had to get really good. Like if a business I'm going to start, if the resource I have to give is time today, it's not something I can give.
Yeah.
Other than I can spend 1 hour a week coaching that operator, my who. The team can wrap operations and finances around that business unit, but it can't be Brett's time other than an hour, right?
Yeah.
I can commit to an hour a week to something to start it, right? And so then I look at influence, right? I want to provide either capital. Today we're in a position where writing checks is something we want to do. We would love to come in and infuse it with capital and get it going. And then depending on the business, right, I might have the influence piece too, right? They might need a relationship that I have, or I can influence customers, or I have a connection that they need, right?
This is important too. You worked at this. You did. You worked at becoming influential to the point, like how he directs title, watch this. Of your 25 deals you did last month, how many of them ended up in your title bucket?
If they weren't a builder where I couldn't get it, right?
Yeah.
Where literally
Actionable, yeah.
The ones that are possible, 95%.
Yeah, because you've worked hard though at the script, answer the objections when someone counters. So it's not like he just does it and it just magically happens. You would go to me and go, who's the best at this? And then you would call them, interview them, take it back. You do that now in all your other lines too. Insurance, I know you started the same way. So this is important. It didn't just happen. He's uber talented, but he's not just talented enough to go, I don't need any help, I'll just go figure it out. So I think your process of building into influence, which has made all of your businesses more profitable, correct?
Well, and to your point right there, it starts with math. Most people have no idea what percentage they even direct. So how do you get more of it? Well, who knows? I don't know what I've got now, and I sure won't know what I'm sending them more.
Right.
So it starts with, okay, I'm getting 45%. Steve, who do you know that's sending 85? Mm-hmm. I want to talk to them. I want to hear that script. What's that email look like? What's that drip process look like? Okay, cool. I can do that. I can learn. Right, and I think what's so cool about what you and I get to do today is another thing I think about is relationships, how they compound. You use return on relationship. I love that.
Yeah, that's my line.
I use that. Everybody understands money compounding over time.
Yeah.
But they don't ever realize that their relationships compound over time. Right, we're sitting here today. It's a 15 years of compounding.
Yes, sir.
Right, and there is nothing I wouldn't do for you.
I love it.
But you got to go build. But I think people don't realize that part.
Well,
they don't realize that they're going to 15 years from now, they're going to wake up and they're going to sit at a table, whether they build a relationship or not. I'm going to tell you, the table you get to sit at is how good you are at building those relationships and actually caring about the people in the relationship.
You know what else I love, and again, this is special and I appreciate it more than you know. We helped each other when we didn't have an objective for one another. Like, you're like,
no dollars traded.
I had moved from a title, I was out of it, and you're like, well, would you help me with this? And there's no win for me in that, right? But I'm like, oh, of course I'll help you. And then by the way, I would call you and go, can you call this guy for me and tell him, you're like, done. So I think it's important. You can't only help people when you need something, right? That doesn't create this, right? Whereas now, like if I call and I know this about, if I say, I need your help, you don't even ask what it is. You're like, where am I going and what are we doing?
Exactly.
Right? And it's the same way with us. So as you look at your relationships, ask yourself, how many times I reach out to somebody not to ask them for something, but just to be there? Because I see you on stage now at Reunion. I watch Gary he's so great with you. And it's like 4 years ago, that was not happening. 3 years ago, I don't think that was happening, right?
But just like my relationship with him started 16 years ago.
Right.
When I was nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. Unranked. Went to a class of his, when we became we were number 3 in all of Keller Williams. And by the way, if you go do this with Gary today, this won't work. So don't, if this gets out there. But I went to him, I said, hey, I love what you're teaching. I'd love to come to more stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, anywhere I'm teaching, show up. So
Which most guys don't, by the way. He says that to people, they don't show up.
I showed up to everything. Now, you go to check in the room, there's all the lanyards laying on the table, right? I never had a lanyard because I never registered for anything. I just showed up.
Yeah.
Right? These people paid, and I had no problem paying. I just didn't always think about the registration link. So I'm in every class, Steve. I mean, all of them.
That's
Front row, sitting right here. And his staff would come over, well, why are you here? Oh, because I'm Gary's buddy. He said I could come to anything. And they're like, well, and they're like, well, you go tell him I shouldn't be here. And the joke became, I was everywhere, right? Everywhere.
I love it.
And so how does that relationship happen? Well, now I've got this super unique relationship, right? That he's my coach.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're so lucky. Yeah, luck was a huge part of it.
Sure.
I also, how many times have you been on a plane where you were not invited and sit in the front row to not even talk to him, just to be there to learn?
So resilient.
And add value. Like I always woke up every day like, how do you add value to a billionaire? Kind of hard.
Yeah, not an easy answer.
He's got everything. But
an
yet,
easy answer.
actually, I could pay attention. Right? I can go figure out needs or things that I could do to him or help him, not do to him, things I could help him with.
Yeah.
Right? And so, again, what's your relationship? Can you add value and look for nothing in return, right? But I think that if you start thinking about those relationships like that, it makes a massive difference in your world.
That would be a huge nugget. Okay, now you've identified these businesses. Let's go through some of your spokes if we could for folks.
Yeah.
So you have the hub, now your spokes, and then, because I'm assuming as you get it mature in the who, your hour a month might become an hour every 2 months or 4 months, depending on what it is, correct?
Yeah, we'll get that down to, ultimately that could get down to 30 minutes a week, 30 minutes every other week.
Got it.
You know, what we do, so we did this yesterday. We have a state of the company meeting now, and we bring in every department, every leader. There's 8 of us sitting in a room for 10 hours yesterday.
I love it.
We go from finance to operations to big rocks to are we on or off track. But even like everyone's presenting, and even if your business isn't related, like my property casualty guy is sitting in there with the investment business, with Melissa who runs, you know, my licensed bank.
Yeah.
We're literally all in the same room. Now, what does all those have to do with each other independently? Nothing. Collectively, you put 8 smart people in a room asking different questions. I'm going to tell you, it's even we go to dinner afterwards.
Exponentially better.
They're all going, I learned so much. I actually can help that.
Yeah.
I
could add casualty and surety to my investment base, to my lender space. Yeah.
They all start, and it's such a cool place to play from. And I'm just so grateful that I've got these incredible leaders. But it all starts with like a model, right? I had to build a model. How do I create a state of the company? And everything for me is how do I get a model around it, a system, and then how can it be the most leveraged vehicle possible?
Well, and again, what I love now, what I'm so happy now about is now you're teaching this.
Yeah.
Right? Like no one does this, by the way. We have these people, respectfully, I call them false prophets, haven't sold a house in a decade or two, but they're teaching how to be great in real estate. And I love Bill that sold 3 houses this morning before he came to our podcast. That's kind of who I like. And you're now teaching actually what you're doing in wealth events. So give us, so you start doing that on your own. Then, and I don't know what we said, metrics we would send people to you, and then everybody came back every time. Jocelyn England, one of our partners, would send people to you who's here today.
Yeah.
And never ever does someone go, no. And then you say, you would tell me, anybody wants their money back? Anybody, I'll give them a refund check, no problem. We never had one person of the hundreds we sent you ever say was not the best 2 days of my life. So now you're teaching wealth in this. Walk us through kind of that vision. If you're watching, here comes some nuggets, so write something down.
So firstly, to go back to the false prophets, I want to echo that. I have a quote you're going to love, right? And I think it's that there's those that do in life, and there are those that talk about what they think those that do actually do.
That's exactly, it's
right?
true.
Like,
that's what happens in real estate.
I think if I was a real estate agent and sold a lot of houses, this is how I think it would be. I'm like, I don't need to tell you what it would be like if I did it. Like, I'm not playing business. I actually run companies for profit, right? Like, I'm actually the CEO of 6 different businesses, so I get how it is.
Yeah.
I can just show you this is the actual data. This is our KPIs.
This is what it is.
So we took our business, and we've been very blessed and successful on that side.
Yes, you have.
And but what I realized is being successful there had nothing to do with creating wealth.
Ooh.
Completely not related.
This is important. So if you're out there and you're generating lots of cash, does not mean you're wealthy. Two very different things.
I know people that make $2 million a year net income that are dead broke. I know people that make $80,000 a year that are really wealthy. So there's no correlation. Yeah, more money done correctly helps. But more money done actually could be a detriment. Mm-hmm. And so early on, I got to be in these mastermind groups, the top agents across the country, right? I'm 28 years old, and I went around the room and I said, who in here, these are the most dominant agents for decades. Who in here's wealthy?
7, 8, 9 million GCI. I'm killing it,
and
Bo.
who in here's wealthy? And I went around, I'm like, how many houses do you know? Like, how much your passive income? They weren't wealthy.
Yeah.
They had a big house.
Right.
Late model BMW.
Yeah, really good leased car.
But if they quit working tomorrow, they would be wiped off the planet in 60 days. Mm-hmm. And so I realized, wow, being a great realtor is a skill set. Building even a good business is a good skill set. Money has no relation.
Well
Your money doesn't carry your religious beliefs. It doesn't carry what you identify as, right? Your money is just money, and you can be a great steward of it. I always say this, Steve, we all have our own bank. You're running a bank, I'm running a bank. Our producers here, they're running a bank. You can run a really crappy one, right? Or you can run a really great one. Because do you buy stuff?
Right.
Do you invest money? Okay, well, in that fashion, you become a bank, right? Banks take deposits, they lend money.
Yep.
So we're all a bank. Do you want a really smart one? And so I start studying what do the wealthy do? How do they really think about money? Not like I bought a rental property and now I'm a wizard because I bird it.
Yeah.
Right. I love these. Like, oh, do you burr? I'm like, it's called a cash out refinance. It's been around forever. Just because you make it sound cool. It's like burr. Oh, it's cold.
but this
buy, rehab, repeat. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's the same Instagram thing with the photo of I'm get on my plane and that guy's got not one penny to his name.
You're renting the opportunity to take a picture in front of a jet. People do this. Go look it up. You can go rent, not go on the plane.
Yeah.
They're going to jump on Southwest 10 minutes later. But I'm going to get a picture of me and my buddies. Oh, we got the jet shot. Wouldn't you rather have the real money that actually could get you on the plane or get you a plane? And so anyway, long-winded rant, but I looked at money was totally different.
Okay.
And so I had to start studying, how does money really work? How do banks work? Why do they never lose?
Right.
That's interesting, right? Like, and just in a rental, we'll use a rental property. It's probably what most people are familiar with. Everyone's like, oh, it's got a 6 cap. Cool, that's a good yardstick. Yeah, cap rate, capitalization rate. But what about cash on cash returns? What about expense load? What about your value on the cap rate when you bought it? But if it increased, what's the cap rate today? Because by choosing not to sell it, you're buying it at today's price.
See, this is what he teaches in the forums. What I love is you see all these guys that have 2, 3, 4, some guys have 20 and they go, I don't have the answer to any of that. And then you put your spreadsheet up on your 52 rentals and show them exactly.
108, but I get what you're saying.
Sorry. Yeah. 108 now? We keep buying shit, so I didn't know how that worked. That makes sense. We can cuss. It's my podcast, so I'm going to say shit. It's just how it works. So now you show them exactly how you do it, give them the spreadsheet, so that now every day, every week, they can have that process, correct?
Everything I talk about at our mastermind, right? If I teach you hard money lending, I could say, cool, I have $7.5 million out on the street right now. Here's the loans. It's a live sheet, so you can see the loan amount.
You underwrote it.
I teach exactly what I did, right? I don't teach the stuff that didn't work, because by the way, I've done a lot of stuff that was stupid. Didn't work.
We used to say if we do that event, that's 2 months.
That's a 2 month long.
2 months,
yeah. It's a long.
Well, it does work. You got 4 hours. You'll be great. Get out of the thing.
But we show them. I mean, like, how are you thinking about it, right? And as money comes back into your world, I think creating the first dollar is cool.
Yeah.
How do we get it compounding, right? How do we get that working? And it just becomes this game. And my mission today, I think I've got the coolest day job in the world that I'm most passionate about, which I teach agents and people in the real estate space how to actually create wealth. And it's the funnest thing ever, because agents, people in the real estate business, have this completely unfair advantage.
We've talked about this. This is awesome.
Number one asset of the wealthy people, go to the Forbes top 100, number one asset they hold, real estate. What do real estate agents know more about? Real estate. Cool. You know what home you can buy it for on 123 Main Street. It's in your business, right? You know what you can sell it for. You know the construction, and you can buy it, and you can make $50,000 or $100,000. And this is totally legal, and people clap. If you did that same thing, if you and I know Tesla stock's going to skyrocket, and we go buy a bunch and we trade on it, we go to prison.
It's like the smartest stock guy that doesn't do stocks. It's sitting in front of us to do.
We've got, I'm just thinking about a lady, came to my mastermind and never done a flip. We give her how to analyze it. She jumps on a call. We actually break down the deal. She goes and does the deal. She made $81,000.
That would be like 10 deals in commission to get to that number.
Gross 10.
Yeah.
Probably 20 or 30 by the time we netted it back.
Exactly, right. Well said.
10
Because there's no referral fee. There's a boom. Net.
The 81 was net and net. She said, Brett, this money will change my life. I can go use it to go buy an investment. Now I've got passive income. I'm like, yeah, but here's the cool part. We don't have to do it once.
Yeah,
we can do it again. Right, but like, I think people got to get comfortable, right? You've got to, so one of the things we teach, it costs nothing to go analyze 150 deals. It costs nothing to go do it. I can go in there, underwrite it. Oh, this deal doesn't work. Why does it not work? Right? I can understand, what does it actually cost to sell a house? Do I know it takes 9.5% if I allocate for everything of the final sales price?
Correct.
To budget conservatively? Do I know those things, right? And it's just this language. So there's two things. The training is good, right? We teach what we're actually doing. Secondly, you've got a room, right? The game of what you and I get to do today, when we go hang out with our friends, it's a room of like-minded people. They're all doing big things.
And they're all trying to get better and bigger. They're not like, I got it, I know. They're like, Brett, what's that? How would that be? Okay. And they're just taking notes and focused.
And they're not jealous of your success.
No.
Anyone in our world, you're like, dude, you're crushing it. How can I help?
Yeah.
Hey, actually, I got an idea for you.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
So it just becomes a tribe of people that are rallied around it. So it is so fun to get to go share this with others.
Do you think, I think it's one of the most underserved communities, the wealth community in real estate, for the reason you outlined. We confuse making money or getting cash in with wealth. And I think this could, if you can do, when you do what you have always done in every market, make it bigger, bolder, more relevant, this could really help people's lives. Legitimately change people's lives. And we've seen some of it. People that, like you said, make a couple $100,000 a year, but now have 6 rental properties. Now they have fix and flip, but they're thinking every time they touch a home, that's what they're looking at first. So walk through kind of, if you take yourself 3 years from now and you're doing this, what would be like, I won, man. We're this on the staircase, we're up.
Yeah, it gets, I mean, I think inside of the thing I'm doing inside of Keller Williams is that example. I think that community could be 10,000 people that are members, actively engaged, right? And that's a really massive number. It'd be the largest community by a mile.
Correct.
Wealth, what's cool about it's the one thing you can't fake.
No, sir.
You can get up in there and you could say you sold a bunch of houses and no one has a really way to check.
Yeah.
You stand up at the front of the room and they're like, well, show me your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a little light on stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like assets.
Yeah.
And so, when people dig into it, you go 3 deep and you look really stupid. And I see a lot of my competitors out there that want to enter this wealth space. Like, Brett's onto something.
You've made it sexy.
I made it really cool, and I love it. By the way, guys, I say welcome aboard. I can't wait to compete on the field. Because if you don't know,
don't take this nice. He's an absolute freaking assassin and loves guys that want to jab a little bit because then he comes in for the knockout. Okay, keep going.
Well, I love it. I mean, my joke is always, well, why don't we just lay our assets on the table and let them decide who they want to hear, right? I mean, I'm not the wealthiest guy out there, but I am one to use my real estate commissions to create it, and I'm doing it in real time, and I actually do the thing I teach. And I think that makes it different. And I think our people like that. But someone might say, hey, Brett, do you know how to buy a 100-unit hotel? I don't. I can probably walk you through the economics. But I say what I can do. I can find the guy that's bought 5 of them.
Yeah.
I can find the person that's exited 10 of them, and I can bring him into there, and I can add tremendous value to that person. So it's not even I only know so much. I've got a very linear, right? We got small multifamily, I've got triple net commercial, and then we invest in a ton of debt, right? That's our game today. But I can get the experts, right? So whatever your area you want to be better at, find the authority.
100%. Well, this is what I love about you. Is you keep bringing, we guys at Rise the same way. We want to keep bringing value to the network. So when you got into notes, I'm like, what are you doing in notes? You're like, I went and saw a guy who was the best at it.
Paid a fortune for one day to go through,
But by the way, then you're like, follow up, ask questions. Guy likes you because you know you listen. See, going to see a guy for a day and paying $25,000, people can do that. What he does different is, hey, I have 4 more questions. Can I get an hour? And the guy does, because he's not a jerk. He respects your passion. Then you get another hour 3 weeks later. Then another hour. Then
we become friends.
Yeah.
Well, I also go, I loved your training. You're helping people. I don't want anything for this. I'm going to send a bunch of people your way that I know would benefit from this training. Right? I have no dollars traded. I'm paid to do this.
Yeah.
But we become friends, right? And now, like, I'm in a big trade right now on debt with the guy I went to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm come alongside to take half that portfolio down. But it's cool. It all came out of a relationship that I sought out. And so you want to get better at your health, your wealth, your time, your relationship with your spouse. Go find that authority and get around the best, because there are people that have lived before us. Right? I want the person who actually did it for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I want to learn, hey, what was the worst thing you did? What made it hard? Where did you maybe miss risk? I will learn way more. I don't need the guy who was crushing it yesterday. Like, that's not super helpful. I need the person who's like, how'd you get your ass kicked?
Well, this is important too, and I think I love this, how you do this. Why 30 years is they've had 4 of these. So if they were, everybody's been good the last 5 years. Now, the last 5 months, ask yourself who's good.
Well, here's what's great to go to right now.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to see more agents getting their teeth bashed in. I don't know when this will go live, but they're getting their teeth bashed in. I mean, I go to live events. I talk to the biggest agent in the country every single week. Right? I coach of the top 10 agents in the country. I coach 5.
Yep.
So I mean,
50% of the biggest. Yeah.
In the country.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, they're on point.
Yeah, they're winning.
They were adjusting in October.
Correct.
They've already made the adjustments. Now you go 3 tiers down. The guy's like, whoa, it changed 6 months ago. Oh, you're figuring that out now. And there are so many losing 100,000, 200,000 a month. And it blows my mind, but it's all the people, Steve, that they have no scars. And see, like you can't see them because my back's up. I got a bunch of scars over here that it never will heal.
No, because you'll never forget it.
Because I went through
yes, you did.
8, 9, 10, right? Almost got out of the business in 8.
Mm-hmm,
right?
I remember.
Yeah, because I was successul as a realtor. and then it got harder. Like nothing I do actually works anymore.
Yep.
I had to revisit my model, but I went around to people that lived before me. I didn't get good answers from them at that time.
Well, you remember being in the room with me when I said I can generate REO accounts for some of you in the room, and a lot of people said, "Remember this? I'm not doing that crappy business." This is in Arizona in 08, 09, where 70% of our deals were the crappy business. FYI, oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't need that. I'll do it, Steve. And I'm like,
actually, as we're filming this here today, greatest story ever. You will not know this. You had some of the asset managers come out here to Seville.
I did.
Yes. I showed up 2 hours early, and I actually paid the bag guy $100 to put my bag on the cart of the asset manager. Stop traffic.
This does not surprise me at all.
It was not an accident.
No.
I said, buddy, when they come here, there's a guy's name's Bill, last name we won't say here.
Yeah.
When he gets here,
Bill
when you look at the bag tag, you take Brett Tanner, you take him, you set it right there, $100. He goes, I don't care who your bag's with. Exactly. I had 4.5 hours in a controlled environment to go get the account.
But this is why you win. And then
anyone could have done it. Everyone had $100.
Well, and here's what's funny though. Here's what else you did. He told you, you got to put $100,000 in an account because you're going to have to fix cash for keys, do all this work. Now, you didn't have $100,000 easy laying around. That wasn't easy at that time in your life.
No.
But
that
you know what
would
you
have
said?
represented a lot of what I had.
Yeah, and you know what you said? I will get it.
No, I got it.
If I'm going to do this, I'm not going to play little. And then all of a sudden, Fannie Mae, Wells, Wachovia, boom, boom, boom. And I remember those same guys in that room a year later going, hey, can you get me an account like Brett? And I go, well, did you do what Brett did? See, you guys want to not do this crappy business, not spend any time on it, just think it's easy. And now he's a ninja. And I would make you talk to the whole mastermind group because they're like, how'd you get an REO? And I go, tell them. And you would say, oh, grinded, failed, spent thousands of dollars I didn't need to. That's what better looks like. See, it's not the glory. This is the glory. We know all the shit we went through. I know watching you going, dude, I'm in Buckeye right now in a driveway at a mobile property and I'm like, and it's 118. And you're meeting in your car. That's the only thing that's air conditioned out there where you were, right? And now look at what's happened.
But you got to be willing to do the work, right? Do the work, but I think people believe they can't change the outcome. And you can.
Yes, you can.
Right? You got to decide where is the relationship? What do I need to do to be relevant? But by the way, the whole time with Bill, I wouldn't say, give me an account, give me an account.
No, you never do
How
that.
can I add value? Mm-hmm. Hey, what's the biggest struggle you have operationally? What can I do to help? I don't know that I can fix any of this, but I'm going to ask really good questions. Mm-hmm. And I think there are some things I could do. How can I be the best agent in your network? 100%. What does that look like? He told me exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And then I just went and did it.
Therein lies the job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go do the work, you mean? Yeah, you have to do it. Talk to me a little bit about how this whole thing's evolved, but you have a unique consumer mindset, I think. Because remember, everybody's like, more leads, more leads, more leads. You used to say, well, there's plenty of leads. And we've got a little rise. Reboot we'll talk about in this too. Go back how you categorize your database. How although you like pumpkin spice, you're not going to send them recipes every week. You're going to send property. Walk through your mindset and vision around that so folks can get a handle on it.
Yeah, I think when people start getting leads, they're like, I just need more, I need more, I need more. And I don't think anyone's asked the question, well, how many leads does each agent actually need?
Yeah, and what's a lead?
And what's a lead, right? We're just going to assume a lead is like someone that actually wanted something we have, like they looked at a property or something, right?
Right.
We got contact info,
okay.
Right?
Name, phone number?
Name, phone, ideally email, right? But I got to have a way to reach them. And I even email only, I would probably say helpful, I'll still do that. Goal to get a phone number. Let's just assume we've got the contact info. Okay, that's a lead. But each agent only needs so many. And I know that because I sent them too many and the conversion actually sucked, right?
Yep.
So the way I figured this out is I tested it. I had, 5 agents. I sent them each 300 leads.
A month. 1,500 leads total, 300 each guy.
Brilliant, right? Super great strategy. By the way, don't do this. This is the 2 months.
This is one of the not working programs we're talking about.
So then I'm like, well, they're not getting a good conversion. Well, what if I gave them half as many? Conversion actually went up. What if I gave them half that amount?
So now you're at 75 now.
Conversion went up. I did it one more time and I got scared. So I left it at 30. I got down to 30. And that was the right number, about a lead a day. Over time, because you're building a pipeline.
I love it.
You've got to really get in there. And then now we've got 100 leads. Mm-hmm. By the way, your average salesperson, if they've got more than 100 active leads in their pipeline, I know this, they're not doing the work.
They're just looking for the low-hanging fruit, right?
Yeah,
There's
all kind of call.
grab one or two and just get a
this
quickie.
one looks good, right? Yeah. So if you've got more than 100, you got to clear it out. Then we've got to, how do we migrate? What's your lead migration plan to get those people to a pond that we're going to work over time? As we grab someone, that person comes back in, right? And are there better leads? Of course. But everything in this business, that's what I love about real estate. If you make it really simple, it's all math driven.
Yes.
And the math you're driving at, everybody measures 900 KPIs. What's the cost per lead, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? All that matters is a cost per closing.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's
true.
it. Like all I want to do every day when I wake up is I go, how much is a closing? I get my average commission's 10 grand, right? I'd like to spend around 12%, $1,200 to generate a closing. So I take my $1,200 out, Steve, and I'm like, all right, cool. I just want to buy a closing.
There you go.
There we go.
Is.
Cool. Is that
Boom.
Realtor.com, Zillow,
Yeah,
pay-per-click? I don't care. I would like to buy closings. And as long as that's my exchange,
I'll buy as many as you can get.
I will keep buying it. Now, if I don't know my cost per closing and that becomes $1,900, now I go back and revisit, well, what can we do to change conversion? Do we need more frequent touches? Are we looking at, where are they getting their properties from? Is it, if it's a buyer? Or are they going to someone else's site? Cool, no visibility there.
But if you don't know this number, all that's irrelevant, right?
Agents as a group are terrible at math. And I don't know why they realize it. I hear it all the time. It's just Excel's hard. I'm like, really? It's single digit addition the way I do it. I'm not doing a 90, right? B2 plus D2 divided by R2.
There's your number.
Okay, it's not that hard. But if you don't know the math, it's like you're gambling and you don't even know the game.
No, you got a map of Detroit and you're in Dallas. You're still lost, man. It doesn't work. And this is what I think this is one of your greatest gifts, and you got a lot of them. You take the complicated and you make it simple. He makes it consumable for our folks in real estate, which is why it works. How do you categorize? Talk about, you have the consumer, you got content vision. How do you categorize it? What do you expect to send them? How often? Give me that vision.
So we got the simplest system. I've been doing this for a decade, the exact same system.
Yep.
Right? Lead comes in, get them on the phone. Cool. Steve, when are you looking to buy? When are you looking to buy? I'm going to break into 3 buckets. Less than 90 days, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months. Hot is the quicker one. Nurture, watch.
That's it.
This is easy.
Don't need 12. So don't need 12 different stages. Don't need
too complicated.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, exactly.
0 to 90 days, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12. If you're inside of 90 days, I'm going to call you every week. Literally, this is like the easiest policy. Voice to voice.
Yeah, you and me
They're
talking.
like, well, if they're going 90 days, well, how do you know? Hey, Steve, you're moving in 90 days. Are you still coming out? Cool. You getting those properties? I love it. Awesome. See anything you liked? No? Cool.
Okay.
Let me change a little bit. Next week. Hey, man, did you see that one at 123 Main? It kind of sounded like it was a fit for the family. Really looking forward to seeing you here a little bit. Every week I've got to engage because as you move closer, by the way, is your 90 days, is that a fact?
Yeah, not.
What if you buy it in 30 days?
Watch this. Who's left? How many of you have had that person that you're working with, and all of a sudden you see it close in the MLS a month later? They said they're going to wait 3 months or 4.
Or they're 6 months out. So the idea is if they start at 6 to 12 months, which would be once a month, I'm going to talk to them. They're 6 to 12 months out. If they're 3 to 6 months, I'm talking to them twice a month. Once they get into 90 days, it's every week. But as they move forward, I've got to increase frequency. Again, the old trainers teach, well, if they're moving in 12 months, you divide it by 2. It's like a lot of math. And I'm like, why? How does that work? If I called you a year ago, or you're 12 months out, I call you in 6 months from today, you're going to have no idea who the hell I am.
Correct.
Right? You forgot all about me.
Built no rapport, no relationship.
I started all over. Maybe you bought, you don't know who I am, I'm starting all over. Now, if I called you every month now for 6 months, then I start calling you twice a month, and then I start calling you every week, the likelihood that I'm your guy is like almost certain at this moment. And so I move away from uncertainty in my business to certainty through pipeline management and KPIs and looking at it.
I feel like you've created a recurring revenue model for a transactional real estate business, which is why I love it, right? Do you feel like that?
Our team, I spend, again, I'm long out of the business day to day.
Yes, you are.
I spend an hour a week coaching the
By the way, he's my best friend. He won't list my house. I have to call his listing specialist. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, we're going to send someone great. You know what's crazy? I couldn't even fill out the form, right? I have no idea to get it.
But let's do the golden handoff. I call you, your buddy, and it's not a small house. What'd you say to me? Do you mean the golden handoff?
Steve, I've got a person that does our higher end properties, our luxury specialist. That's literally all they do is luxury, which would be your house. And this is all they do. They do about 400 of these a year. Would you want me to come out and fumble through it, or would you want an absolute expert who's the best person there is that works directly with me?
That's called the golden handoff. It's the most important thing when explaining why it can't be used. So all you single agents that think only you can put the yard sign up, only you can manage the flyers, when you have a handoff, you know what I said when he said that? I go, that makes sense. Great. Who are you sending? Greg. Send Greg. Cool.
And the person that came out there was
awesome.
Yeah. If you're really great at this business, you won't be hanging lockboxes. Mm-hmm. You're hanging them because you haven't yet mastered skills.
Yeah.
Right. Number one, are you maximizing you? Okay. This is your vehicle, good or bad, make it better. So your first goal in life is just to maximize you. Right. And Gary, this is his latest, I don't know if he shared this out yet, but he was just walking me through this the other day, and I was like, did you just make this up, or was this just so good? So number one, maximize you. Mm-hmm. It's your first goal.
Yes, sir.
How do you then you maximize the money you create as you. Take my money, I'm going to maximize it. Right? What is it? I'm going to figure out the best return. Level 3, I go maximize my business through others. Right? Now I'm going to learn, because again, the skills to maximize me as an agent, that's just sales skills, follow up, some hustle and grind.
Yeah.
Money, little, get a rental, figure some stuff out.
Now
Level 3, now I got to go to management. I got to learn leadership. I got to learn people skills.
Retention of talent.
Okay. How do I keep them, right? How do I get good ones and then not let, and how do I build a world that's big enough they never leave? And the last thing is, how do I maximize my money through others? Right? There's levels to this game, right? But if you can keep the strength of your real estate team, if you're watching this today, you're going to love your salespeople. I love my salespeople out there. I love to sell stuff. The operations folks are the foundation of the whole thing. And people miss it all the time. It doesn't mean I don't love my salespeople. I want to go hang out with them. I want to create sales contests. I love that game. And I could go get another salesperson tomorrow.
But here's the funny thing.
If my operations, if 4 of them leave today,
oh God,
it's nuked. And it's not even possible because I've made them partners. I own stuff with them. In a good way, I've made them all multi-millionaires. In a way, I'm very proud of that.
Absolutely.
I'm not in a way. I'm very proud that I did that. The point I'm making there is they're not going to leave. The opportunity for them is truly endless. And I care for them as much as I care for myself. And I really mean that.
And I think that some of them will leave, but you know what they'll do when they leave? Hey, boss, I made my number, or I've met a human. And the exit will be so transparent, so win-win, so like, I'll train the next person. People don't understand. People will leave. That's okay. How you leave says way more than how you enter anything. And I know his ops people. And if Sabrina had to go, she would make sure before anything else, you had everything you need with that person. She would train. It's what they would do.
Here's a great example. She tried to leave. She resigned.
That's right.
And she said, I'm moving to California. And I said, okay, well, let me think about that. I'm like, well, why did you resign? She goes, well, you don't believe, this is 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You don't believe in remote work. I said, no, I don't. I'm in office, get in here.
Yeah.
I'm in the office every day. So let's try it. Let's see if we can make it work.
Yeah.
She moves to California. There 4 years, kept the job,
Yeah.
came back, and now runs my family office for me. So she tried to leave, right?
Yeah.
Most people, they might leave because they got to go to another location. That doesn't mean today I'm losing my person.
And see, because of the way you handled that, when she came back to Arizona, she's like, can I do more with you? And you're like, absolutely. And this is the other thing he said, and don't miss this. And we are blessed. We get to do some of this together, which I love. He works on himself in areas that he's already elite at every week. What will you spend this year in dollars and time, which is more important to you than dollars now, on making yourself a better speaker, presenter, leader, finance? What will it be, ballpark, dollars and time? Watch this.
I would say this year I'll be north of 150,000. And by the way, that's short of my goal. Like one of my mentors said to me, Brett, start spending 10% of your net income on your education.
Yes.
And I went, this is before I had, real money. And so I was like, that doesn't seem that hard.
Yeah. I'm making 100, I can get a 10. Right now
when the money gets big, and this person, when they said it to me, they were making about $5 million that year. And it was a she. She said, Brett, it's really hard to spend $500,000 on your education. She goes, but I will hit that goal. It's a goal to go spend it. Heard another good one though, spend 10% of your money on your health. 10% on your education and 10% on your health. But it gets hard as the numbers get bigger. But
yes, it does.
I've been in masterminds that cost $100,000 a year.
Doesn't matter if it works.
I could tell you the network alone was shocking, staggering. I've been in rooms where you had to turn in, literally one of the groups I joined, you had to turn in your tax returns and you couldn't show you made less than $1 million the previous year to enter the room.
Well, they can't get in the room.
And they literally vetted it.
Now go to hours, because I know you're feistier about your time than you are your dollars. How many hours is that? $150,000, how many hours?
I spend 3-4 weeks. So 100,
Solid.
120. I mean, and that's not counting the time. I mean, I read every day. I probably read 40 books a year, 50 books a year. And I read for myself, and then I read for what's best for our audience and try to get the best materials that they need at their level. But I mean, I'm listening to a podcast. I was going over here to be with you. I'm listening to a podcast at 2x speed. I want to be up to date. I want to learn. I want to grow. Because one idea, like people always like, what does a book cost? What costs $20? That idea, I've got books where like if I lost my book, because I dog ear it and write notes, like if I lost it, it would be like a traumatic experience.
Seriously.
Like my wife's like, this book, baby, you folded every single page in it. I go, no, not everyone, but kind of looks that way. Yeah. I kind of need to take this one and start over. Yeah. I just read, by the way, The Almanac of Reval. I don't know how to say his last name. It's like Nivakans. Guarantee people on this podcast have probably not heard of this book. It's one of the top 5 books I've ever read. It is awesome. It is an amazing book.
Share a lot of book stuff because I do think the nuggets you can grab today is so much better. All right, have a little fun now. We have been traveling together for 15 years.
And we're getting ready for our new tour.
This is
tour
man.
2.0. We're getting back on the road again.
Come on. Hey, Rise is bringing the wealth guru to your neighborhood. It's coming.
I am shocked that we're doing this again.
Oh my God.
There is no one more surprised than me.
So we're going to give you the 3 worst travel trips of all time that we've been on. I got my 3. You go first.
We got to go 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we got 3, 2. Okay, build to it. Yes.
No question. 2 and 3 are they're Oregon, Portland, and Salem and Eugene. That whole
I didn't tell you the truth. I go, we're going to Portland. We go to first. Now we go in. We go to El Gaucho. You're like, this is amazing. And I go, well, the next morning we leave at 7:15. You go, early Mastermind. I go, well, no, it's about an hour away. How far was it away?
Oh, I think it was 2 or 3 hours, but that we were in like some rental car that didn't have like all-wheel drive or any of the necessary things for a blizzard. That's not great. We don't have like gloves or gear or anything. So you go out there, the window's iced over. We've got like credit cards.
We're doing good. So we go in and speak.
And I'm from the snow. I'm like, does this thing have a snow scraper or what are we doing? Oh no, we're just gonna.
We come out in
a little window this big on the window.
And so Brett, I go, we get in the car and we put the heat thing on and it's not working. And Brett goes, we have to scrape it. I go, with what? Now, these are 2 guys in 3-piece suits who just talked to 500 people who think we're gurus. And we're both out there like this, collars up here, trying to do this. And Brett's like, you got to get deeper. You got to go sideways with it. I'm like, I've never done this before. He's like, that's obvious. Let me do the driver's side. You do the other side. So this happens in the snow. Do we make our flight?
Well, no, we get there, we do it. Then we met that different podcast. We met the witch in Salem.
Oh my God.
And witches are real. Okay, it's a real thing. You
gotta tell them. Okay, Brett sees weird, and I'm like, hey man, we gotta go. This chick is certifiable. What's a Taste 5 clean or crazy? We gotta go. Brett goes, hold on a minute.
Get that in my world.
Walk me through exactly why you think what you think, Miss Salem.
I gotta tell you what. So Steve, life gives you opportunities to have fun. And you gotta have fun. If I see something crazy, I invite it into my world.
You do.
Get over here and meet my friend Steve and tell us why you think you're a witch.
I met Tina at the bar.
Tina says she's a witch, Steve.
Yeah, and you know what I thought? I thought, come talk to us. And then, now we're with 8 other people, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, Tina, sit down. We're very inviting. We're inviting, aren't we, guys? I'm, oh yeah, but he said, and I'm looking at him like, I'm seriously gonna lose my shit with you right now. I can't believe it.
I had a bunch of questions.
Exactly.
Where did the thought process
here's the
start?
bad news. Tina, after about 42 minutes, figures out you're messing with her.
Didn't really figure it out.
She's
did
like
get slightly upset though, at some point.
Yes, and now I'm like, now we have to go before you get spelled. Okay.
Yeah, I thought
Oregon one. I agree too.
Or that was both. It was both the drive, the Salem, the Eugene, the whole thing. Okay. That's 2 and 3.
Okay.
1, which can never be replaced.
Yeah, it'll never be replaced.
I know we have the same one.
We do.
We went to Dallas and we got the storm of the century.
That's what they call it.
And I'll tell you how I know it's a storm. We woke up the next day. There was a skiff of snow. I grew up in Colorado. 3 feet of snow. We have school.
Yeah.
Okay. A skiff wipes out the entire city. I go to Uber, and I've never been on Uber before where...
We're in the car. We are in the car on the off-ramp.
No, but before that, I'm like, this doesn't... It says there's no cars anywhere, and it's all red, Steve. I don't know what's going on here. We find the only car. We start driving to the airport, and all the flights are starting to cancel. And I was like, and I have a rule on flights. 2 delays, I'm out. I go back to my hotel. I just try again tomorrow. I'm not going to play the game. I don't want to sit there. I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to sleep on a cot.
And we're a half mile under the on-ramp. You're like, Steve, see what this means? Everything is, we're going to sleep. How much you said?
Yeah, we're going to get to the airport. They're going to cancel our flight. All the hotels near it are going to sell out. We're going to be sleeping on a cot. Or we turn this thing around. We go get back in our hotel. We go to that cigar place. We have a great dinner. We have a blast, and we leave tomorrow. So they were getting out of their cars on the.
We got out of the car on the off ramp. It's snowing. Brett's like, follow me. So we pull our little bags off. We're walking on the freeway down the off ramp. Other people are like, yeah, we'll do the same shit. Then we got people getting out. We get back to the hotel. I'm frozen. We get our room. Mm-hmm. We have our night. We go to the Double Eagle Steakhouse. We go to my cigar lounge.
It was a great idea.
They bring over scotch. You rode the lion in the snow. Great job. Yeah. And then the next morning we get up and it's Groundhog Day.
We wake up and it was really fun for 24 hours. Now the same day, we do the same thing, go to the same cigar bar, have the same steak dinner. Day 3, we wake up, it's the same.
We lost our
and we're
mind.
like, oh, we got to get out of here. If we have to drive to
I was
Arizona
working.
from Dallas,
Oh,
that's an option.
Oh yeah, no, I called and got floor seats, and I called my boss and said, "You are paying if we don't get out of here because we're gonna go sit on the floor." The Mavs. I had a buddy who Mavericks guy played basketball in Australia. I was like, we're gonna go buy clothes. I was in a weird, just spend as much money as possible.
2-hour event. We spent 3 days.
Yes. The cigar guy's like, if you guys keep coming back, we're going to make our nut for the whole month. And Brett's like, we're not coming back. We're leaving. You found one flight out. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. We
was
got
at the
out.
airport. We were at a different airport.
9 at night, random rogue airport. We get back, third day. But so traveling's not, again, that's why I inserted my rule in my opportunities. Yeah. Do I have to travel for work?
Because of
you're a big
storm of the century.
You get caught in 2 storms a century, and you're like, you know what? It happens more than, it's not once a century.
Oh, literally. Brett, we get back finally, and he goes, you owe me Hawaii. I want to speak in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So we did actually go to Hawaii.
That was cool.
And you're like, it didn't snow. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah,
this was great.
Our one trip, definitely the one seat, best trip.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
That was a good time.
Hawaii, definitely the best.
Well, listen, everybody, the best in the world today in real estate about wealth. Do me a favor. Brett, how do they get a hold of you? How do people connect with you if they want to?
We've got a free Facebook group, Be a Wealthy Agent. Go check it out there. It's free content. Check it out. I'm Be Wealthy Brett on every single platform, Instagram, all the stuff. But yeah, join to get our free content. Check it out. It's the best way.
We also talked about Rise Reboot, which is our partner in this. It will take your current database and reboot it such that you will get closings if you pay attention. So Rise Reboot, take the QR code and link you're going to see on the screen, hit that. You get a 3-month free, one-time half setup fee, 3 months free. Take an opportunity. It will generate business in your own database, in your backyard you don't know you have.
Can I say something about that?
Please.
Yeah. So we're all out there. We've got a lot of leads, right? We've got that pond, right? Today, there are so many great ways to get better at data. And that's what Rise Reboot does, right? I can take my database, and now if I've got, we've got 300,000 leads in our database here. Mm-hmm. It's not like we can just go, quickly kind of figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I can go put it in here, and it's going to tell me where to focus my energy, right? If I know what leads to call, and I can prioritize that 300,000, call this 500, call this 1,000, what is it worth to be able to do that? So you got to get better at the tools. Technology's getting better. And you got to start putting those tools. So I definitely think I know that you went there and you've got to think about that. So I definitely think you got to take a look at it.
And for you, it was easy. I called you. It was 11-second conference. You're like, done.
Yeah,
because you know how important it is to find money in that spot. Listen, this is about adding value to your business, your practice, your life. Connect with the guy because I'll guarantee you this. You'll learn things about tax, things for your kids, way you can save money. I think it's one of the most important initiatives, and congrats, man.
Thanks,
my
brother.
guy. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
you. Rise up.